Mazda CX-5 is Australia's top-selling SUV, but you should absolutely not buy one right now. Don't do it. Put down the credit card and step away from the dealership. Here's why. The Mazda CX-5 surprised even Mazda when it replaced the aging CX-7 in February 2012. Sales ran away here and overseas. It's the number one SUV here in Australia, ahead of the Hyundai Tucson and Toyota RAV4. It's fully a quarter of Mazda's sales in the USA. But now is exactly the wrong time to dump your hard-earned cash on a new CX-5. Don't do it. You'll be sorry if you do. I'm John Cadogan, the founder of AutoExpert.com.au, the place where Australian new car buyers get the right advice and save thousands on their next new cars. And I get a lot of Mazda CX-5 inquiries. It's understandable. It's a solid product, great for families. I recommend it highly. It's not perfect, but it's up there. It's pretty long in the tooth, however, right now, coming up for its 5th birthday, and a new one is in the pipeline. Launch date not yet confirmed, but the smart money is saying about May this year for Australia. The wraps came off the 27 CX-5 at the LA Motor Show last November, and details continue to emerge. Just before Christmas, it came to light that a touring variant would be added to the range, which will comprise Max, Max Sport, Touring, GT and Akira. With CX-5 Touring, Mazda is effectively spack-filling the gap in price that currently exists between Max Sport and GT. Mazda Australia is prick-teasing the new one on its website right now. I'm sure the marketing department doesn't call it that. It's quite funny, actually. Almost 8 weeks after the global reveal in LA, even right now as I record this, Mazda's website screams on the homepage, second generation Mazda CX-5 to be unveiled in LA. Nothing like having your fingers on the pulse, you know? Oh, but it was Christmas. The bottom line. Despite it being a damn good SUV, you're a nut if you buy a CX-5 right now. The launch of the new one is too far away for the dealer network or Mazda to be unduly motivated to fire sale existing stock, so getting that cracking run-out deal is still months away. Strike one for buying the current model now. Let's say you jump anyway. You sign the contract, you lock yourself in for the 3 to 5 year finance. As soon as the new one launches in about May, the value of your CX-5 immediately takes a big consequential hit. It's suddenly the old one, right? And some of the emotional gloss comes off for you too, remember? Let's not forget that ever. You become the chump who didn't or couldn't wait, or bought at the wrong time, whatever. The upcoming CX-5 is going to be objectively superior too, so if you jump now and buy Australia's top-selling SUV, in May, yours becomes second-rate on objective criteria. One of the most amusing things about being an industry observer is this. The launch of the new model is the only time a car maker tacitly acknowledges the flaws in the current one. Before that, they don't exist officially. At least they acknowledge the flaws they bother to fix for the new one. And in this case, Mazda is trumpeting the stiffer body for the 2017 CX-5, 15% apparently. Translation, the old one was a bit too much like Bendy Wendy. Mazda is also pumping up the new CX-5's better external sightlines. Translation, it was a bit hard to see past the A-pillars on the current one. So they've moved them back 35mm and dropped the sills as well and made the mirrors smaller, and more forward vision is a great thing, especially if rigidity in a crash is not compromised. The seats in the current CX-5 were a bit uncomfortable too, according to Mazda. For the first time in 5 years, we've heard that. So they've attempted to fix that in the 2017 model, and something they always cop a knee in the nuts over, in-cabin noise, has been improved too, allegedly. In fact, you'll never see a Mazda launch for a new model or even a midlife makeover where, allegedly, huge advances have not been made in noise, vibration and harshness attenuation. They're very sensitive about criticism to in-cabin noise. They've sharpened up the steering response with what they call G-vectoring control too. That's already in other models in the range. It's really just a fancy name for a computer system that looks at the speed, throttle position, and how hard you're turning the steering wheel, and it cuts engine power briefly to generate more yaw response in the body if required. So that's good. The dynamics were already pretty damn good in that vehicle, but the steering will be better. Even more Jinba Ittai. It's in the brochure. A Japanese cultural thing about the samurai warrior falling in love with his horse. Or something. Perhaps even platonically. The 2017 CX-5 centre of mass has come down 10 millimetres apparently. No word on whether that compromises ground clearance to any corresponding extent. And there are styling and minor ergonomic tweaks. The shifter location is improved, for example. The dashboard's clearer too, stuff like that. Externally, they've given it that pinched face look of the CX-9. Eye of the beholder on that. I think it looks better overall. They call it Kodo, soul of motion. More Japanese nonsense. So basically, Mazda has the best problem in the universe with the 2017 CX-5. The old one is a runaway success. So they've got to try really hard not to trip over their own dicks with a new one. That can be a big challenge for a car maker. It means incremental change at best, minor tweaks, and spin up the benefits as hard as you can. The press is, of course, lapping this up. I'll just take my advice here and read in between the lines if you search for the details online. You'll find many reports from journalists who were flown by Mazda, probably business class, to LA for the 2017 CX-5 reveal. Accommodated, probably 5-star, by Mazda for the duration, taken to grandiose dinners and other entertainment while on this rock star tour. Compliments of Mazda. The quid pro quo of these cushy corporate media deals is A, don't criticise the product, and B, write nice, glowing reports. It's kind of disgraceful. That's why most of the reports don't include actual strategic purchasing advice for you if you're in the market now for a CX-5. But hey, why provide that when you can wax lyrical about a new colour? Soul Red Crystal, it's called, upgraded from Soul Red and allegedly featuring 20% more colour saturation than that flat old shitty red premium colour in the earlier dated CX-5 you might mistakenly buy tomorrow. The bottom line, the new CX-5 due for launch later this year is more like a heavy-duty makeover. It's built on essentially the same underpinnings as the one you might buy today. It'll be the same size as today's CX-5 and the powertrains will be identical, 2.0 and 2.5 petrol and 2.2 diesel, or so close to identical the difference is immaterial. Mazda does excellent engine technology and really good dynamics, and the choice to persevere with conventional epicyclic autos is a real plus over some competitors that still roll with badly sorted CVT transmissions. Hello Nissan X-Trail and Mitsubishi Outlander. Doubtless, unfortunately, Mazda will also stick with the shitty space-saver spare wheel and tyre, which is okay perhaps in the suburbs, but completely shonky for towing or use in regional Australia generally, where it can be a very long distance between repairs and not much fun being sidelined at 80 k's an hour at night in the rain on the freeway, where the space saver becomes a real safety liability, in my view. iStop, the automatic engine shutdown and restart in traffic system, will doubtless continue as well. It saves bugger all fuel and it really reduces the refinement of the drive experience in stop-start traffic, especially on the diesel. It's mainly there so that Mazda can cook the books on the official fuel tests. I'll link to more reports on how that works at the end of this report. And the problem with that system is if you did test it like I do, you can't turn it off for the duration. You can kind of turn it off, but every time you get back in the car for a fresh drive, it reactivates. It's more annoyingly persistent than HAL in 2001, A Space Odyssey. Perhaps this will change for 2017. No word on that yet. Pricing is likely to remain unchanged for 2017 as well. Tucson and RAV4 are too close and too compellingly competitive in the minds of many for Mazda to tweak demand down by pumping up the price. If you've got the $30,000 to $50,000 burning a hole in your pocket right now for a new SUV, the smart options are wait until the new CX-5 lobs and wait a couple more months after that until latent demand evaporates. Do not be an early adopter. If you can wait, dealers get back to their usual state of moderate to severe desperation and they start discounting, which is great. If you buy right after launch, there's a queue of people over the horizon clamouring to buy. There's no discount for them or you in that case. Alternatively, buy something else now like a Hyundai Tucson, Kia Sportage, Subaru Forester or Subaru Outback. They're all great SUVs too. They all have strengths and weaknesses, certainly, and bear in mind that the Forester is looking down the barrel of a major refresh for 2017 as well. That's going to include a styling once-over and a new version of EyeSight with even more impressive capabilities. It will see in colour and feature a longer and wider field of view. And the turbo petrol Forester will get torque vectoring like the WRX and STI. So it might be good to wait for that too if you're in the market for a Forester. For vehicle recommendations, if you're in the market now, or to save thousands on any new car in Australia only, sadly, contact me direct at autoexpert.com.au. Hit like, and to help me take over the universe even earlier, subscribe. The better for me to inflict myself on you in the future. Comment below, let me know what you think. But if you are going to do that, remember, I before E, except after C. Except, of course, if you're a weird atheist neighbour of a beige seismologist reindeer. That's an important set of distinctions, but only if you are vestigially literate. I'm John Cadogan. Thanks for watching.